Streaming versus making YouTube videos. I think that's a very common decision that a lot of people will have to make in their near future. You know, everybody's going to have their 2 cents and something to say about it. And I think it's really interesting because the fact is that you get to decide if you want to go into content production or not, what you want to do. How do you plan on entertaining people? Whether it be making your own website, making your own music, making your own videos, doing your own live streams or podcasts. So many different ways, but the two I want to talk about is video production versus streaming because those are the two that I have experience in. I have some podcasting experience, but not enough. Not enough to talk about it. So, YouTube is actually a much more interesting thing to me because, you're going to have a lot of people who argue and say, oh, streaming's harder, YouTube's harder, Vimeo's harder, Twitter's harder, Facebook's harder. All these things are elements that could be considered almost a job. We're in the entertainment business, and a lot of us, some here are professionals, some of us are not, and that's obvious. But when it really breaks down to it is that you get to choose a large portion of what you do. But when it comes to are you going to be successful in it, that's really determined also by you, but there's other variables that come into play. If you make something, that's all on you. But whether you're successful or how you manage it or handle it, it's on you, and then on top of that, it's on everybody else if people actually decide to watch what you produce. So the interesting part of the debate is that I think that YouTube is personally harder. Now, I'm going to hear some conflict about this because, you're going to always have, people who sit there and say, oh, well, streaming's harder. You have to be there for 8 hours, 12 hours a day. Sometimes people go longer, sometimes people go shorter, and, you have to be entertaining during that whole entire duration of time. Well, everybody's different, and it obviously is dependent on your personality. But from what I have gathered, there are very big pros and cons against one another. For example, when I'm streaming, I find that I am able to relax and take some slow periods and not always have to be entertaining or talking or try to be funny or trying to be crazy. But when it comes to YouTube, the pro of it is that I get to essentially make my own schedule. So what I mean by that is that, it's almost like if you have ever watched behind the scenes stuff, like Family Feud, for example. If you know about Family Feud, what they do is they get about like 7 or 8 groups of people ready together to do like 8 shows at once. So they literally have 1, maybe 2 days in a row where they are just recording tons of episodes. And they take that and they edit it up over the 8-week or however long period that it's going to be. So essentially, you can do more stuff in a shorter period of time. But at the same time, do you have to be funny during that entire 8 weeks you're going to be producing content? No, actually what you're doing is you're literally spending 1, maybe 2 days actually being funny. But the hard part comes in as the editing part, making everything flow. You could almost vouch on this based off of if you could watch a PewDiePie video. If you've ever seen how he edits a video, you look into the editing software he uses. If I'm not mistaken, he's using Premiere Pro CC, which is what I use because I saw that's what he was using. And you see all these layers and these complex textures and the subtitling and all these little things that go together. Now, I used to edit with Pinnacle Studio, and there are limitations on your software, but really, using something like Adobe, there are so many features involved that you have to know a good portion of those to make that video smooth, make it good. When it comes to live streaming, you have to press a button that turns it on, have a computer that can maintain that stream going consistently for, let's just say, 8 hours. It's an 8-hour job for you. You have to have a machine that's going to hold that for 8 hours and consistently put out the same quality. However, what keeps people interested in the stream is your personality or the game you're playing. Now, for example, being a pro gamer. Does a pro gamer really need to put in a lot of effort? Yes. They need to put a lot of effort into the game. Do they need to be putting a lot of effort to entertaining by their personality? No, because why most people are coming to a pro gamer stream are to see their skill. So literally, I could essentially find you one of the best StarCraft 2 players in the world, or League of Legends players. I could put them in a live stream and just have them stream the game. No effects, no background, none of that music, none of that stuff. Because why that person is getting viewers is because he is one of the top players in the world, and people are coming to see him because of the skill that they play on. Now, some people are related to that. Some streamers are able to do the same thing. But, you know, where you put yourself in that gap will ultimately decide, what is easier, what's better, what's harder, what's going to get you views, what's not going to get you views. And the same thing applies to YouTube. Are you going to be the daily troller? Are you going to get on Xbox, troll, and then immediately edit those clips every day? Or are you going to do what I did, and you're going to take like one day to spend like 8 hours trolling nonstop, get bunches and bunches of clips ready, get everything set together, and then spend like 2 or 3 days in a row editing one specific episode? It really depends. And I'm not going to sit here and say one's harder than the other. I'm saying is that my opinion is that YouTube is harder because when it comes down to the editing process, you know, being on a live stream, you are you. You're creative, or you're a good game, or maybe you're talking about something, or your current events type of deal. That's just you coming out live on television, essentially. That's live entertainment. But live, you can't edit it. You can't, if you accidentally slip up and start getting racist, you can't go back and delete that. That's there forever. In a video, you can edit that out. But you know what the thing is that the interesting part that people don't really recognize when I say that is, oh, you can edit that out. Well, let's just say, you were having fun, you were making laughs. All of a sudden, somebody gets really racist. You want to cut that out of your video, and then you have a funny bit right after that. You now have to take that split, like, just for, say, example, 20 seconds in that video. So you have a minute-long video, and 20 seconds of there, somebody's on a racist banter. You now have to take that 1 minute clip, edit it down to 40 seconds, and then on top of that, make it so that it seemed like there was almost nothing that happened in between. That's a lot of work and effort for some people, and that really comes down to, what do you prefer? Is that the workload you can handle versus do you think you're just funnier live? I can't really speak for everybody here, like I said a million times already, but that is really the major spectrums that it comes down to is that YouTube, you really write your own schedule. You decide when you're going to take or how you're going to take in your video intake. Are you going to record a lot or are you going to record little by little? Is your editing going to be long and, hauled out through several days, or is it going to be short and sporadic but making it so that's consistently, updated or a consistent format, Whereas live streaming, are you a good gamer? Are you trying to portray your skills to people? Are you an entertainer? Are you trying to have a great personality? Are you maybe like a trick shotter or a sniper kill feeder or, God, no, like a let's player or something like that? Or maybe you're even just a modder, These things are very different, and one of the main things that you need to do, I guess if you really came and you were thinking that I was going to talk about how to get viewership or how to help, I guess the one thing that you could take from this is that if you limit yourself to having one personality or one specific thing you do, you're not going to blow up. It's just not going to happen because, you can do one thing a million times over, but after a while people get bored of it. But the fun part, what really kind of can help you get viewership, is doing something you love, but mixing it up, having different people on, or, having a twist happen, things that are new and exciting, because we are honestly people who get bored very easily. And when you do something and you change it up and you mix it up, or you do something that's unique, that's going to get you viewership. But the thing that you need to do to make your stuff even digestible is you need to have a point that you're trying to sell to your viewers. Is it your personality, your skill? Like I've said a million times, what are you trying to entertain your viewer with? But the content itself needs to be, mixed up. So that's really all I want to say about that. It's a little debate. I would love to hear if you guys think that streaming's harder, or making videos is harder, or podcasts or music making is harder. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Please leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.